Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Batna in Algeria. Batna is located in northern Algeria. You can see the Mediterranean Sea poking up out there. And the most prominent geographic feature of this region are its mountains. It is part of the Atlas Mountains, in particular the Ores Mountains within the Atlas Mountains. So it's a very mountainous region, kind of a little deserty, but that's mainly because the Sahara is just down here. So it's wedged between that beautiful Mediterranean coast and the Sahara Desert. So you kind of get a bit of both. You can see the town of Batna is right there, obviously the capital, and you can see right over here is Timgad. And you see these three little dots. That means it's an archaeological site. So what is Timgad? Thankfully, Timgad is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I'm going to slide my tablet over so that we can read about it from its website. Here we go. It says, Timgad lies on the northern slopes of the Ores Mountains and was created ex nihilo as a military colony by the Emperor Trajan in the year 100. With its square enclosure and orthogonal design based on the Cardo and Decumanus, the two perpendicular routes running through the city, it is an excellent example of Roman town planning. And sadly, there's only one picture on UNESCO. Let's see, there it is. Really neat, but we are going to look at, see how cool is that? We're going to look at some better pictures on Google Earth after we talk about the history of this area, which isn't terribly long. I didn't find a lot about this region. But you're going to find out why I didn't. Very similar to the video I did earlier in the week about Chad. But yes, this area really kicked off because of the Romans building towns like Timgad, and near, kind of like right there, is a town that I think is called Lambaesis. I'm sure called something slightly different in Latin, but I think that's what it's called now. These towns, like it said, built in the year 100, were retirement towns for Roman soldiers. So in order to become a Roman citizen, if you weren't born into it, you had to serve in the military for 20 years, and then you and your oldest son could become Roman citizens. And after that 20 years, you were allowed to just live the good life as a Roman citizen. And you could move to a town like Timgad and just live out your days in paradise as a Roman citizen, and knowing that your children will be Romans as well. A big price to pay, fighting in the military for 20 years. But that's why these towns were established out here. They were like the Florida of the Roman Empire. It's where you come to just retire and relax and just chill, I guess. With the decline of the Roman Empire, these towns were attacked by the Vandals. And the nail in the coffin for these towns was when the Berbers rose up and attacked. They saw that they were weak, and the Berbers kicked out all the Romans in this area. Now, the Berbers, like I mentioned in my video earlier this week about Chad, were still some of them, a nomadic people. And they roamed this area, grazing camels and following the various trade networks in the northern Sahara here. So this was part of their territory. And they didn't really demolish anything. I think the Vandals were the big demolishers, where we get the word vandal, right? The Berbers just let it be. And it sat out in this arid, deserty landscape for so long that when it was rediscovered, in, gosh, I want to say, I think the early 1800s, late 1700s. It was still pretty well preserved and still is today. Like I said, we'll look on Google Earth. Lambaesis, the other town, not so much. There's not a lot left there, but what is left is pretty neat. In 1844, the town was established by the French as a military outpost, being kind of the edge of, I guess, the coastal civilization. Like I said, between the Mediterranean here and the Sahara. So it was to fight the Berbers and keep them out of this area here. Not that I'm sure the Berbers would want to go over there, but they definitely would want to fight the French and kick them out. So this was established as a military base. And Batna would have an important place in the history of Algeria. On November 1st, 1954, there were many uprisings in many towns throughout Algeria against the French, a coordinated attack. One of them happened in Batna. A large one happened in Batna. And that kicked off the Algerian independence revolution, I suppose, independence war. So it's one of those flashpoints in the long conflict that Algeria went through, starting a long chain reaction of just, I guess, conflict is the word. It was not a safe place to be, especially if you were a Pied Noir or a French-born Algerian. Very dangerous place to be. But it's not so today. Algeria is very safe for you to visit. That is long gone in its history. You don't have to worry. There was an incident here in 2007 with an organization that we're not going to mention because of the YouTube algorithm. Let's say an organization, what I like to say, of people that blow things up on purpose. One that Americans know very well from the early 2000s. Put the pieces together. They blew things up on purpose in this town, 2007. But there hasn't been anything like that since. So like I said, very safe place to visit. And that is pretty much all the history that I have for you. Like I said when we were talking about Chad, you know, the Berbers aren't writing history textbooks about their long convoluted history. You know, they're nomads. Their history is all told orally from generation to generation by word of mouth. So any kind of epic anything that would have happened is not written down, so very hard to find. And it's not like they were, you know, Alexander the Great, Napoleon kind of people where they were like, we're going to spread out and conquer. No, they traded and lived off the land. Really fascinating culture. But I'm going to stop yapping and we're going to head over to Google Earth so that we can look at Timgad and a couple of other sites in this region. Here we are in Batna province. Let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are. Algeria is the largest country in Africa. It's massive, taking up this huge chunk of the Sahara here, and you can see that we are along this beautiful Mediterranean coast region here, and you can see the Atlas Mountains dominating this whole coastline. This branch here, which is where Batna is located in this mountain range. You can see just how mountainous it is, isn't it? I guess if we start over in the town of Batna, I think it's right there. I think it's over here. It's hard to see with all the desert. Let's see. Well, I guess let's start with this national park because it's glaring at me. And it's a beautiful slideshow. Look at this. So yes, you get that. Oh, what are these? Apples? I'm not sure. You get that lush, green, fertile northern coast along with the dry, arid desert kind of mushed together here. So, wow, gorgeous. Look at this. These big rock formations there. That's amazing. Some snow there as well. And it's just a very beautiful place. Look at all the snow. It's Oh, you can't see. There you go. Look at all the snow. It's something you don't think about when you think of Algeria is snow, isn't it? But yep, this place gets snow. Look at all of that. Because it's such a high elevation. Isn't that lovely? Alright, let's check out Batna, the town. I mean, it's right here, right? Isn't it? No. I thought it was just down here. Am I lost already? No, it's up here. My goodness. Here is the town. Batna. Let's check out the slideshow here. It is a very typical North African town. And some Roman ruins there. All very lovely and modern. Ooh, pretty waterfall. I wonder if that's actually there. I'm sure it is. Oh, they're having a snowball fight. It's all very lovely. Lots of pigeons there. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that's pretty cool. I wonder if that's there also. Sometimes in obscure places, pictures get tagged that don't belong there. That mosque is really pretty. So yeah, you kind of have to wonder when you look at generic slideshows like that. Alright, let's see if I remember how to get to Lambaesis. It's somewhere south of here. Let's see, you guys like it when I get lost for some reason. I don't understand why. It just frustrates me. When I get really, really lost, I just cut. But we'll poke around and see if I can just find it naturally. I know it's near here somewhere. I did not write down the name of the town that it's associated with. And, oh, I have to turn on, actually. Nope. No, okay. Let's turn on the everything filter for all of the sites to pop up for it. What's this over here? I don't know, it's in Arabic. I can't read Arabic. Let's just see what it is real quick. It is a gorgeous landscape. Beautiful. So yeah, you see what I mean. You have kind of that aridness to it, but it's still very lush and green and beautiful like the rest of northern Algeria. Alright, I'm just gonna have to type it in, I suppose. I thought I knew where to find it. Did that say waterfall? The Boyun waterfall. I did not see that before. I wasn't poking around here with the everything filter on. That is stunning. Wow, I bet you that's cold as cold can be. That mountain runoff. Ooh. But I bet it's so refreshing and clean. Alright, let's type it in. Actually, is it over here? I think it's over here. It's gotta be. Let's type it in. Lambaesis. Tazult, that was the name of the town associated with it. I remember now. I was so close, wasn't I? I was right there. So, it's kind of hard to find these ruins at first, because like I said, it's not nearly as well preserved as Timgad. But you can see right here was what's left of the amphitheater. You can see where all the seats were, where the stage was, and below the stage. And I think it's actually a really good slideshow because it shows more than the amphitheater. It shows a lot more of the other sites around here. Look at that. It's all that's left of this huge amphitheater, because you know it was pretty big. They always are. How neat. You can see the middle there, where they would raise things up from below. What's left of the aqueduct. Wow. Interesting. Petit Pont Roman. And what's this say? Oh, the arc. You gotta have an arch. Lambaesis, so toward the bathrooms, I guess. Or the baths, the Roman baths. Yeah, so that's all that's left of this town. There's a couple more things over here. Lambaesis, that's what they called it. Roman military city. So yeah, and by that they mean where all the military come to live and retire. That's the coolest kid in the world right there. And yeah, lots of preserved plaques there too. Except there's a really cool one in Timgad. I just want to show it to you. Let's go. I can't wait anymore. We're going to Timgad next. It is the coolest place. Uh-oh, I've gone too far out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm probably just gonna have to type it in too. Let's turn this off. Turn this on. Timgad in Algeria. Oh, see, it's right there. I should just looked a little harder. But this is incredible from above. You gotta see, you gotta see, you gotta see. Look at this. So you can see this perfectly squared off city. And the perfect little roads here and all these perfect square homes. You can see there is a huge temple right here. This actually became a big Christian center after Christianity became a thing. Here's the baths, which is great because you can still see all the toilets. Still preserved. Look at the beautiful sconces there. And we have some library preserved, which we only know that was the library because of this plaque here saying that it's the town library. How neat is that? You can see the big arch. I think it's over here. Nope. Must be over here. It's in one of the directions. Big arch. Oh, over here. Nope. You saw it in the picture in the library for a second. The big arch of Trajan. There it is. That would welcome you into the city. And yeah, how fascinating. And what's even neat to see is like look at all these columns and still that are left behind. Just sitting out in the desert waiting for us to find it. And find it we did. And it's remarkable. You can see the urban sprawl because this was the original city. You can see how it expanded out here. And down here it expanded out as the population grew. Fascinating, right? It is so gorgeous. I think the temple down here has a slideshow. Must be on the everything filter. Good old everything filter. See, there's bathhouses preserved there. There's the market. Let's look at that. The cloth market. Oop. So incredible, isn't it? Wow. So you can just walk through what's left of this town and you can still, oh, that's what it looked like once upon a time. But you can just very easily imagine what everything looked like because so much is still there. The theater. Look at that. You can see the big arch there. Well, that's a shot, isn't it? That's stunning. Some mosaics in the museum nearby. Probably should have shown you that first. But yeah, lots of plaques that we can still read. So we know what everything was and where everything was. You can see the cobbled roads there. Fascinating place. I would love to visit this spot. You can take some great pictures here among all of these ruins. Look at that. My goodness. So much still exists. I'm obsessed. I think it's remarkable. Here's the Musée de Timgad. Let's check it out. Some pretty mosaics there. Looks like a dragon and a leopard looking very concerned. All the artifacts that they found in this town. Statues and these cool mosaics. That's the one we just saw. Mosaics here. Looks like that was a floor, I bet you. Oh, that's stunning. I wonder if those look like headstones, don't they? I wonder what they were. Look at these. Could just be bits of pillars. Like that. That looks like a tomb. I wonder if it was gravestones. That could very well be. That looks like a grave, doesn't it? Ooh, very. Looks like Jupiter. Oh, wow. So incredible. Just imagine just stumbling upon this and everything is just as it was when they abandoned it, save for some wear and tear. Incredible. All right, let's look at one more thing before we close out this video. What shall we look at? I'm going to throw the boundaries back up so that we don't wander too far out, because Batna is not a very large region. Spelled it wrong. Batna province. Let's see. So one more thing we can look at to end this video. I guess we should check out some more natural sites. Let's see, down here we looked at the waterfall. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's not a very long slideshow. Why does this always happen to me every time? Looks like some more ruined, so that's pretty cool. How about, what's that say? Irrigation? Yeah, there's no pictures there. Oh, how beautiful. All right, let's close it out here. This is gorgeous. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. We're going to go to another beautiful corner of the world. Next, we're heading over to Cambodia. And we're going to be in Battambang, over in the Tonle Sap Lake region, which, in my opinion, is the most gorgeous corner of Cambodia. All of Cambodia is stunning, but there's something special about that corner, you know. That's near Siem Reap and all of the beautiful wonders of Cambodia. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. If you learned something new, if you didn't know that it snowed in this part of Algeria, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what cool facts you learned down in the comments. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good night. Good night. Good night.